ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
We're here.
And we're back like we never left. It is Live Zone here. As always, we have Eric. Eric, how are you doing today?
Good. It's been interesting this week. I'm really excited to kind of talk about the nuances as we're heading into WrestleMania season. Or WrestleMania. We're already in WrestleMania season.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with all of that. We got a lot to talk about. Not too much this week, though, unfortunately, as we're getting more towards the WrestleMania season. We're going to start off and we're going to talk about something that, everybody's expecting us to talk about. If you watched Monday Night Raw, you saw John Cena's heel promo. Obviously, Off the Ropes was going to talk about it, and obviously we were going to get into it. So I want to know, how are you feeling about John Cena's first heel promo since 2003? One, did you like it? Two, could it have been better? And three, what do you think about the character that he's running with?
I definitely enjoyed it, first of all. I'm on the side of I'm glad he didn't change anything. I'm glad he's wearing all of his same stuff. I'm glad he didn't go to Thugonomics or some weird new song. I like that his character is still himself. He's still John Cena, the character that we know. And he even mentioned it. He has his same values. He had to compromise his values because of in his mind, what the WWE universe has done to him. I thought that was really neat. It's something we've never seen before. He's the exact same. He's trying to say anyway that he's the exact same, when in reality, and he says he's not a babyface or a heel. He's a heel right now. So I think that's pretty neat. The promo itself, I think it helps when you're in Europe, when you're trying to get heat, because anyone probably can. You say something mean to them and they'll be loud, and it was perfect timing. So kudos to them for probably planning that out and knowing what type of crowd they were going to get for that situation. You just got to keep building on it now. It's got a foundation, so I'm excited to see where it's going. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of what happened. When we saw John Cena turn heel, he could have gone so many ways with it. He had The Rock right next to him, so he could have gone the corporate way. He had Thugonomics right next to him, so he could have gone the Thugonomics way, which was not expected. He could have gone a new way, a new character that we have not even seen before. But instead, it's the same "you can't see me" BS that we have been getting since 2004. I'm not a fan of it. There's a reason why a lot of people are saying Cena sucks and everything like that. It's not because he turned heel. It's because the character straight up sucks, in my opinion. So I don't like the whole I'm breaking up with you WWE Universe type thing that he's going with right now. I thought that out of all the storylines, that this one would have been the worst one out of all four of them. Now, there's a lot that can happen. He could still change. I like how he didn't change the song, though. The song should have stayed the same, regardless. But the character itself, I thought, should have changed in some way, shape, or form, and it didn't at all. So I'm not a fan of the babyish, like, oh, what the hell, I'm getting misused, I'm getting mistreated type thing that we've been getting from John Cena in the last week. It's not. I know I've been kind of bashing Cena's heel turn, but that's just because number one, Cena is not a heel to me. I don't think that he can pull off the heel character any more than what he did in 2003, because in 2003 it was organic. He was a heel, but he was still getting cheered. He was still a good guy. So there's a lot of stuff mixed in with this as well. Cody Rhodes saying, "Hey, don't bring that baby shit in here." I love that, but you know, we gotta come to it as like a whole and say, "Hey, that wasn't. It was good. Don't get me wrong. No matter what John Cena puts out, it's going to be good. Heel, face, promo, wrestling, whatever you want to talk about. Hell, movie." You know what I mean? No matter what John Cena puts out, the product is going to be good. It's going to be worth watching. But I just thought that, you know, we talk about Cena like he's the greatest of all time. We talk about John Cena like he's top 5 and 17 world titles in one company. Only one person will be able to do that, and that's John Cena. That's not what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing, hey, John, listen, I know you're the greatest. I know that, like, when it comes down to it, you're going to be in the Mount Rushmore of WWE wrestlers just for your stats and everything like that with world titles and title reigns and everything like that. But your promo, you are so much better than that promo that we just got, in my own opinion. So that's just me. Now you're saying that you liked the promo and that you're saying that you like the storyline that they're going with. Um, so do you think that this we're gonna look back at this as, hey, John Cena's heel turn? That was great. We should be watching this more, and we should be having other wrestlers like gravitate towards this and look at this as a heel status? Or do you think that it's just gonna be another heel turn?
Maybe. I mean, I think they're going to look back on it to what it did for the business more so than what it was. Like, to be 100% honest, at the end of the day, I don't overly think that, like, they're going to put a lot of effort into this storyline and heel John Cena. But it's what they're going to get out of it is what's going to matter in the end. That's what I'm kind of looking at, and I think that's what them and the entire universe are going to look at 5-10 years from now. We don't watch as much of the Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin stuff after they turned heel. You don't really watch as much of the Seth Rollins stuff after he turned heel. You watch when they won the title as a heel for the first time, and you watched when they turned heel. They'll keep building on it, I think, to make it as good as they can. And I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be a really fun thing. I think it'll be an awesome WrestleMania main event. But I think the bigger picture is the business, the money it's going to make, and how impressive and never done before that this type of thing is, because like you said, like, it's so hard to see John Cena as a heel. We know he's such a good guy in real life, and we know that would do so many awesome things. He loves the fans, no matter what he's saying right now. I bet you part of what he's saying here is true. I'm sure to a certain extent he feels that a little bit, but there's obviously no true hatred to the fans.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And I'm not even like saying that. I'm just saying, all right, when I think of a heel, I love how you brought the business involved into this, because now I'm going to talk about the business itself. When we saw guys turn heel, like Hulk Hogan, right? It started the NWO, and what the NWO was changed the business.
Started the Attitude Era.
Yeah, when we saw Stone Cold sign over with Vince McMahon and everything like that, it stopped the whole Attitude Era and kicked us into Ruthless Aggression. I guess I'm asking, what are we going to get from John Cena turning heel the same way that we got something huge that turned the business around, like Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it elevates people, right? I think as big as Cody Rhodes is right now, a good feud with heel John Cena will elevate Cody Rhodes even further. I don't know if it'll be as far as going to where like WrestleMania 29, like Rock holding Cena's hand at the end. I don't think it'll be necessarily like that, but it'll just catapult Rhodes into another level. And in the past, when this heel turn first started, when we talked about all these young guys that could get involved with Rock or Cena, I think it could elevate anybody to be associated with them. So I think that's really what we're looking to get out of this idea is just elevating young guys or guys like Cody that can truly become what The Rock was saying he could become, the movie star, the whatever he wants. I think Cena can put that in people as well.
All right. You heard it here first from Eric. From a guy that loves the John Cena promo. I wasn't a big fan of it, but I can agree with what you're saying and everything like that. So you heard it here on Off the Ropes first. Hopefully, this catapults us into the next thing. For WWE. We're going to be right back. We got some more things to talk about. We're going to start off by talking about the mid-card rankings and everything like that when we get back. But first, here's an Atlanta Seafood and Steaks ad.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. From fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
And we are back. Sorry about that for the weird pause. I had some technical difficulties with my microphone real quick. We're going to head over into the mid-card rankings. Now, I'm going to start off with Raw. Obviously, we know what's going on with Raw and the Intercontinental title. We're getting Braun Breaker going against Penta, but there's more to it. I want to know how you feel about the Raw rankings before we get into SmackDown ones.
All right. I think it's a fun picture right now. There's so many like interesting casts of characters that like a year ago you wouldn't have seen. Like, oh, this guy, and this guy going for the Intercontinental Championship. That's pretty cool. I think they're doing what the Intercontinental Championship is supposed to be, right? The workhorse title, the title that you use as a stepping stone to the world title picture. Guys like Ludwig Kaiser have been involved in the conversation. A guy, not that he needs a stepping stone, but AJ Styles has been involved in the situation a lot. I'm really interested to see how some of those guys can either make Breaker's title reign even better or how they can maybe be the one to take it from him, potentially at Mania, because he's had it for a while now, and just move him up to the next level too. So it's good, right? There's a lot of different types of options for them, which is pretty good this time of year, don't you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you 110%. Listen, they got a big trio right now in the Raw mid-card scene with Braun Breaker, Penta, and Finn Balor as well. Mm-hmm. Those three, and we're not even getting started on Dominic Mysterio and all of them afterwards when JD McDonough comes back. So there's a lot of mid-card scene in Raw right now, and I'm really liking it. Now, I have a question for you with the Raw ones. We'll talk about SmackDown in a second, but do you think that there are going to be any world title main eventers come out of the mid-card scene, kind of like how we saw with the SmackDown 6 and the Raw mid-carders in the Ruthless Aggression era?
Oh, for sure. Braun Breaker's got to be a future main eventer written all over him. Things change and happen to any top like young star, but if you had to pick, or if I had to pick someone, whether they are holding a title or not right now, that's going to jump into the main events, Breaker's got to be on the top of that list. Be interesting with Penta. He's I guess wrestling careers these days don't reach their prime until their 40s because he's about that right now. But it'd be interesting to see if he could make it up to the very top. I don't necessarily see him main eventing any WrestleManias in his WWE career, but never know. And like you said, AJ Styles and Finn Balor, those are your more already established guys that are kind of back into that picture. Those are the types of guys like back a few years ago, Dolph Ziggler or The Miz, that you can just put them. Oops, sorry about that. Automatic
all
like
good,
people.
all good, all good, all good.
People like Dolph Ziggler or The Miz that you can just throw them into any moment and put them in a world title match and think they can win because they're that good. I think Ziggler's talked about it himself. He had been on a huge losing streak, and all of a sudden they put him in a world title match, and it was a great match because they know how to put on a good match. So you can always see any those types of guys back in a world title picture, but I can definitely see Braun Breaker main eventing for a WrestleMania for a world title. What do you think on Breaker or some of those guys?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker is the next Roman Reigns. I think if we're looking at a guy that can take the reins of what we're seeing with Cody Rhodes or Gunther or Jey Uso in the future, maybe, I think that we're going to see that from Braun Breaker. I think that he can catapult the division into world title scene, guys like Penta, guys like guys like
I like Ludwig Kaiser
Ludwig
in that
Kaiser.
picture
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
another one that I'm thinking of is All American Chad
Chad
Gable.
Gable.
Chad Gable is another guy that I could see being catapulted into the main event scene pretty soon here. Uh, but I look at Raw and I see the one main eventer that can catapult it with the rest of the guys that's kind of there but not there yet. You get what I'm saying? Whereas on SmackDown, which is what we're going to talk about now, this is where the real mid card scene is. We have guys like Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight. Another one is Jimmy Uso. Guys that are literally right there to get into the main event scene. Now, I want to know, how do you feel about SmackDown compared to Raw? Do you think that SmackDown is better than Raw? Do you think that Raw is better than SmackDown? Where are we laying out there, and where do you think the WWE is going to change in the next like draft or whatever it is?
Picking a better one, that's pretty tough. Like I suppose I don't see a prospect better than Braun Breaker still over on SmackDown. So I guess that would give Raw the edge there for me. But those Bloodline guys, both of them, can be in a main event one day for sure.
Yes.
Not sure their ages as much. I think Solo is like the youngest of all the Bloodline, like including all the guys that were part of his Bloodline. But yeah, Jacob and Solo are for sure people that can, if they stick around in WWE, which seems like any Samoan does,
Yeah.
they'll be in the title pictures really soon. Another name we mentioned there was Shinsuke Nakamura. He's just recently lost his title, so I hope that he's still around with that new gimmick, kind of that he has similar to what he's done before, but just sticks around because I think he's as good as it gets, at least in the ring. I've always been a huge fan of Shinsuke Nakamura. Jimmy Uso, I can't see him being a world title person, but it doesn't mean he's not in the main event because, again, he's a Samoan guy. He's one of those guys who can, once he's back with Jay, once they start doing more stuff with the Bloodline, once they'll probably add new members, he can do stuff there. Plus, I would love to see him in the U.S. title picture, especially if Jay has a chance in winning the world title at WrestleMania this year. You think there's any chance that Jay and Jimmy can both hold titles at the end of this year? At
Oh
Mania?
yeah, definitely. I think we could see Jimmy Uso winning the United States title. Listen, this is where I said that they need to be. I said that Jimmy needs to win the US title and Jay needs to win the heavyweight title so they can both cement their careers as as solo or as single career guys. I don't think that Jimmy and Jay is going to go down as just a tag team. I think that they're going to go down as a Hall of Famer, period. For me, I definitely do think that Jimmy will beat LA Knight and will get no yeet and yeet at the same time. I do think that we can get there. Now, I will say this. I do think that SmackDown is a lot better in the mid card division than I think Raw is. Raw has the best talent for sure in Braun Breaker, not taking that away from them. But you look at the guys that are on SmackDown. You look at Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fat 2, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, Carmelo Hayes. I mean, the names go on and on and on for the mid card scene. I just personally think that if I'm going to talk about a mid card scene, I'm more going to talk about SmackDown than I am about Raw, because I can talk my ears off on Braun Breaker and how great he is, but then I can go down and I can talk about how great 6 or 7 guys are in the mid card scene of SmackDown. That's just me personally.
Both are pretty good options right now. It's a good time to. I saw a thing on Instagram, just the roster that we have right now, and the fact that there's only 2 spots in the WrestleMania main event, and they just listed the main eventers. It might not be that 2002 roster, but it's up there.
Yeah, I don't think anything will ever be that 2002, 2003 roster. That's the best roster that we have seen in wrestling, period. You probably aren't going to get that good again unless AEW guys start coming over and AEW falls apart the same way WCW did. That's the only way that we're going to see that 2003 roster like in this type of roster that we have now, in my own opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Well, we're gonna head over into our first cut one. So what we do here is we take a group of wrestlers that we have put together for you, and we're only gonna cut one of them and keep the rest. So the first one that we got is the SmackDown 6 of the early 2000s. We got Edge, we got Kurt Angle, we got Rey Mysterio, we got Chris Benoit, we got Eddie Guerrero, and we got John Cena. Now, looking at this, if you had to cut one of the superstars, not talking about who they are in real life, because we already know what happened in real life with a few of these guys. But if we're talking about superstar only, and the talent level and what they could reach, and you had to cut one of these guys off of your roster, Eric, who are you cutting off of your roster?
Now, are we doing based on how they were then, or how their career went? Like, because
we'll talk about both. We'll talk about both.
All right. I mean, because at the time, I mean, I was not necessarily old enough to be a huge fan yet, but I don't believe Rey Mysterio was necessarily on the level of some of these other guys just yet. I mean, he made his way to the world title around this time, I feel, but I think they had all had at least a cup of coffee in there by now. As far as career goes, I mean, obviously things kind of contributed, but I don't think that Benoit had the long career that all these other guys had in main event picture. That's kind of my pick, yeah.
All right. So you're taking Chris Benoit. I'm going to personally say that with the Rey Mysterio, that was a hot take, because when Rey Mysterio first came into WWE, he was looking like the biggest thing since Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I necessarily agree with the Rey Mysterio pick there, but I don't agree with Chris Benoit at all. Listen, when we're talking about talent wise, I'm not saying about the person itself. I'm talking about talent wise. There was not a better guy than Chris Benoit in this picture when it came to wrestling. So for that reason, I have to keep him in because when we were looking in 2003 era, 2002 era, the Edge, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, those were the four guys that were safe. Now, if we're talking about high level intensity and what the crowd brings over to what we're seeing as a product, I'm keeping John Cena. John Cena was a huge guy that we saw. Thugonomics John Cena had a crowd pop, had everybody going crazy, coming out rapping, and then after that using the brass knuckle to win a match. I'm going to cut Edge. Only in this situation will you ever hear me say that I'm cutting Edge from a list like this. Because if we're looking at career base and everything like that, the guy I'm cutting is Rey Mysterio. 110%. But when we're talking about talent during that time in 2003, when we're talking about who they were pushing and how they were pushing them and everything like that, Edge was really not pushed until he went to Monday Night Raw in 2004. So for that reasoning, I had to cut Edge out of the SmackDown 6. Now, if we're looking at career-wise, listen, Rey Mysterio, he's great. But he was a mid-card guy more than anything, or a tag team guy more than anything. So I had to put my decision to cut Rey Mysterio if we're looking at career base. But you know, all these guys are great in the ring. I think that this is probably the best mid-card that we have ever seen in wrestling, period. And all these guys got catapulted to the main event scene, kind of like how we were just talking about with the other mid-carders in today's day and age. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, hopefully today's mid-carders will live up to what these guys ended up creating.
Yeah, 110%, 110%. So I hope you guys like the cut one. We're going to be bringing that in a lot more than you think. That will be one of our main things for Off the Ropes. So that's been all. It's been a short episode, little 30-minute episode for you. Eric, go ahead and let them know where they can find you on social medias.
Yes, Eric Dominguez Instagram, Eric Dominguez Events, YouTube, little clips of baseball games, wrestling shows, all sorts of fun events.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you can find me on all the East Coast Sports Investors platforms. You can also find me on X, Real, Live Zone. Yep, that has been all for Off the Ropes. Hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, you got to stay tuned and make sure that you're here with us next time. See you later.